The January 6th committee to vote tonight on whether to hold former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, in contempt of Congress. A vote of the full House could come as soon as tomorrow, and Meadows, a former member of Congress himself, is insisting he's done nothing wrong.
That's an incredible project. I was thinking about doing it, and I would love to kind of direct you in it. And so I read it. I just remember bawling, just crying so much, reading the script, and I was like, wow, if this is on the page, imagine being directed by Denzel and being on stage. What could actually really happen? And it's the
I'm 96. I drive slowly, and I only drive when I have to. I was going to the blood work for my boy. He's handicapped.
You were taking your son to the doctor's office?
Yeah, I take him for...
Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of The Tape. I'm your host as always, Kim Jeeks here. Glad you can join us here on The Tape on this Thursday, December 16th, 2021. We're merely 2 weeks away, merely a week away for Christmas, 9 days away. I'm going to say 2 weeks, but it's been 9 weeks now. But y'all, the Hub Pop Culture, we get you through the entertainment moments of the week. Also, where's the pop culture moments of the week? So, first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Tape here on Connect, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on The Tape. All right, let's get started with the big story. The big story is Megan Thee Stallion is doing everything. The hip hop rapper just doing things that many people wouldn't believe existed. But Megan Thee Stallion does a first in hip hop, and she becomes a college graduate. Let's take a look at right now with Megan Thee Stallion receiving her diploma.
Megan Pete.
Megan Thee Stallion, big up to Megan Thee Stallion, getting her degree. That's what it's all about, getting an education, bettering yourself, bettering your knowledge, bettering your wisdom, bettering everything about yourself. And Megan Thee Stallion just doing that and one step closer ahead of the game with everybody else. Also, too, Megan Thee Stallion signs a deal with Netflix. She's going to be creating and developing a series on Netflix. We don't know the undisclosed series is. Megan Thee Stallion putting her degree to work. She's already getting ahead of the game. Big up to Megan Thee Stallion on her accomplishments and stuff. Also, too, in celebrity news this week, we know Kim Kardashian has been in news about she is not in love with Kanye West no more. Legally, they're still married. Well, she's been trying to move on, getting with Pete Davidson. We've been talking about that on The Tape a couple months and weeks ago. So now Kim Kardashian does another thing that's historic. Let's take a look at what Kim Kardashian did.
Pass what's known as the baby bar exam, typically given to first-year law students. Kardashian made the announcement today on social media, saying it took her 4 attempts to pass the test. During one try, she says she had COVID-19. To become a practicing attorney in California, she will also have to pass the general bar exam. She thanks several people, including her late father and attorney Robert Kardashian, who defended O.J. Simpson during his murder trial. She wrote, "I know my dad would be so proud."
Kardashian, who took a major step towards becoming a lawyer by passing what they call the baby bar exam. After failing the test 3 times now, I don't know anybody except for Sonny possibly that succeeded the first time they took the bar.
Did you?
Yeah. Hard part too. So it is not easy. Baby bar, uncle Mumble Bar, Cousin Bar. None of them are each.
Toddler bar.
Okay, Mumble Bar.
No, toddler bar.
Toddler Bar. Very funny. Very funny. Kim posted the good news on social media, telling followers, don't ever give up, even when you're holding on by a thread. You can do it. Now, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you can clap. It's okay.
People, when she first started doing this, everyone, people love to hate on the Kardashians, and they would say, why would she do that? She has enough money, all this stuff. But that doesn't change that she has passions. And she had talked about loving the law since her father had been a lawyer. And for her to pursue this, it's easier to quit. Like, it would have been easier to fail, be a little embarrassed because it was so public, and move on. The fact that she went back 2 more times to try it, and she's sitting here having accomplished that. Bravo. Like that.
Well, she doesn't have to go to law school in California to be a lawyer, but neither did, I'll tell you, people who did not go to law school and became important lawyers. Abraham Lincoln, for one, John Quincy Adams, and Andrew Jackson.
They were all
But I
dead.
think this is
I know,
why
but they are dead.
Well, a lot of
They are
people
dead.
do.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
There aren't very many states that you can do this in, and California is one of, I think it's just maybe 3 or 4 states. And she also didn't go to college, so in California you can do this.
Oh, she didn't go to college either.
No, so you can sort of study law and apprentice under a lawyer, and then take this baby bar, and it only has like a 20% pass rate. So it is I think
Not easy.
But this
not
is
an
why
easy
she
thing.
is so rich and successful, right? Because she does keep trying and trying and trying again. And heck, I would take her as an entertainment lawyer. Maybe how many contracts do you think she has signed over the course of her
But that's
life?
the thing. She does want to do criminal law.
Yeah,
she wants to
a little
do
bit
civil rights law.
Yeah.
And the stakes are really high in that area. So, she has a lot more studying to do. This is not the route that I took. I'm not familiar with this route. So it does give me some pause, if I'm being honest, right? Because it is non-traditional. And when you have your freedom at stake, and you're on death row, you want someone that is really well-versed in this area. But she's very passionate about
she
it.
got Alice Johnson.
That was with her
that's
connection to the
that's
White House,
celebrity.
though. That was a
But
lobbying
here's
job.
the thing about all of it, guys, is that she did it.
Yeah.
She did it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yes, Kim Kardashian passes the baby bar. The baby bar is like coming to the legal bar when you're in California if you're potentially trying to become a lawyer. And Kim Kardashian, following her father's footsteps of becoming a lawyer, she's already been an advocate for social justice, trying to plead to get people who've been wrongfully accused out of jail and out of situations and circumstances that Kim is working on, and she's fighting passionately for. So big up to Kim for passing the bar and wants to become a lawyer. Speaking of billionaire beef, Tesla chairman Elon Musk says Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, needs to work harder and spend less more time in the hot tub if he wants to boost his space program. I know Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk have been clashing to who can get to space. They've both been to space, and they're both trying to get tourism, the space tourism and stuff. You see the likes of William Shatner, Michael Strahan, and others trying to show people and venture out that space is above the final being beyond. So space is coming between the two billionaires beefing. I wonder if they be in the WWE ring or something, or AEW ring. You never know. All right. In talk shows this week. All right, talk shows this week. We know Sherri Shepherd was scheduled to host the Wendy Williams show Monday, but she had to take emergency surgery to remove her appendix. Well, Sherri had Michael Rappaport fill in, but Sherri returned the next day to talk about what had happened with this.
Literally, it was this excruciating pain in my abdomen. And my assistant Edie, everybody calls her Superwoman, and she got me to the hospital because I was in such agony. And I went to the hospital only because I thought they were going to prescribe like a high dosage Metamucil. But they put me on an IV. And then they gave me a CAT scan, Suzanne, and they came back and they said that I had appendicitis. And they said, literally, and I started crying. I started crying, because the doctor said that I needed to have my appendix taken out like right then and there. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm about to do Wendy. There's a lot of moving parts, so I asked the doctor, I said, could you guys do it on Friday? And I did. Suzanne, I was like, if y'all could just do it on Friday, as soon as I get done, like you be trying to schedule your doggone surgeries. And the doctor said no. So literally, and I never do this. I never do the celebrity thing. But I pulled my mask down and I said, do you know who I am? I'm filling in for Wendy Williams. I gotta do Wendy Williams. And they didn't know who I was. So I figured, I said Wendy Williams and I said, I did with my mask and I went, how you doing? Like that. But the doctor said, they said, Sherry, if your appendix bursts, they said that you could die. That's what they told me. They said you could die if your appendix bursts. And then when I heard that word die, I said, can somebody find Michael Rappaport? Because I ain't... Oh my gosh, but I gotta tell y'all something. It is so amazing how good life is when you don't have your appendix, Norman. I'm telling you.
I feel lighter.
Like, you feel lighter. Like, you don't really need your appendix. It's a pouch just sitting there.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna have to ask God about. I don't understand why he give you stuff that you don't need. It's like your,
All right.
like Suzanne, it's like your wisdom teeth. It's like when you eat corn, it has no nutritional value.
Exactly.
But here's the thing I'm complaining about. I asked everybody before I went into surgery, I said, since you're going to be in my body, can you do liposuction? Can you give me? They said no. I said, okay, can you give me a breast reduction? Something. Everybody refused to give me any. I said, can you just take the fat off my stomach and put it in my booty? Do something. If I'm going to be under, just do something for me. They all said no, but the one thing I do is I have to shout out the New York Health System, Bellevue Hospital. I have to say...
Sherry Shepherd trying to make fun of the light and saying it could have been serious. She was trying to hold it back. I mean, when emergency surgery like that, you can't hold nothing back. You got to do it right then and there. You just can't. I think Sherry Shepherd was kind of like, I want to get it done. You got to get it done now. Get it done now. Don't wait. Never know, because it can be a life death situation. Never know. I'm glad Sherry Shepherd thought about it and got it done. Whew. Speaking of that, on The View, Michael B. Jordan came by to promote his new movie that Denzel Washington starred, but the women of The View couldn't get enough and gushed about Michael B. Jordan's features. Take a look.
Which you star in and you also produce, was originally a book written by Dana Kennedy, and she's going to join us later. She's here. It's based on her love story, really, with First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, played by you, who kept a journal for their infant son while deployed to Iraq. Charles was killed in combat by a roadside IED, but his legacy really, you see it in the film, lives on through his words. What drew you to this story? Because it's a love story, but it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah. I typically, I've never done this type of role before, and I think when Denzel calls you, first and foremost, when he calls you, you pick up. Yeah. You pick up, and it was something that he was planning to do for himself years ago. And, obviously schedules and, timing and all that good stuff, it kind of pushed it out a few years. And then, I come along and he calls me, he says, look, Mike, I think this is an incredible project. I was thinking about doing it, and I would love to kind of direct you in it. And so I read it. I just remember bawling, just crying so much, reading the script. And I was like, wow, if this is on the page, imagine being directed by Denzel and being on stage, what could actually really happen? And it's the I think legacy is so important. I think time is so important. And people don't really appreciate the time that you have while you're living it. Yeah. It's always in hindsight. I wish I had more time. I wish I would have did this. And telling the story through your words and through sacrifice, you make the most of the people around you, your family, your friends, and it just had all of that into one project. And then, of course, it's a love story, and I thought that was really nice and sweet and showing what a real man is supposed to be like.
It's a real romantic part.
It is.
It's a love story. We haven't actually seen you in that before. I mean, anything new in your life that maybe inspired you to take this part? Because we saw a glimpse of it in your recent film where you. I guess you also played someone in the armed services.
A little bit there.
Is there any?
Are you a method actor? Is what she asked.
You know, not fully, but I think one of the things that helps me kind of choose roles or which ones I kind of stay away from is how much I feel like I have to give to the role. You know, certain life experiences, you know, I'd never had. So I didn't feel like I could pull from a personal place. How can I make it connect to me? And now that I'm in a place where, you know, I have found love, I know what that's like. I am in a situation. Y'all know, y'all don't want the details. Y'all know.
But they don't know it.
No, but it's I have a
There's a
girlfriend.
lot of heartbreak. There's a girlfriend.
Michael B. Jordan being ahead of Hollywood, he looked like he could be the next Denzel Washington. Only time will tell on there with Michael B. Jordan. You know, he got the girl, he got the movie, he was Sexiest Man Alive. It's everything coming from Michael B. Jordan in a matter of a time and stuff. You never know. Speaking of that, on The Real, the women of The Real question wondering if the two women, Nicki Minaj did a sub-host of the reunion show, and she tried to put in her 2 cents, but things got a little bit verbal, and Candace's husband got involved and tried to defend his wife's honor. What Nicki Minaj's husband did. So the women on The Real want to know, should it be just two women having a heated exchange rather than the husband get involved? Let's take a look, and you be the judge for yourself with this.
You know, things got a little interesting with Nicki Minaj at the helm. Some fans have accused the singer of being a little too harsh toward housewife Candace Dillard. Well, according to AceShowbiz.com, Candace's husband was not happy with how the reunion was going. And the article says her hubby, Chris Bassett, didn't like the way Nicki Minaj spoke to his wife during the reunion. Then Nicki tweeted that he needed to sit down and stay out of it. Ladies, what do you think about men who intervene when two women are having an argument? Should a man be a backup or should he back off?
I think he should back off. It's between two women. Unless it's getting physical, then I guess he can come in. I know he's trying to be chivalrous and, you know, protecting his wife, but when two women are talking and going at it or whatever, I think the men should definitely sit out. I have a girlfriend of mine who her husband loves the gossip. I'll be talking to her and he'll be chiming in the background. I'm like, is Chris talking? But I think some men like to also get into it and have a conversation.
See, for me,
in this particular case, no.
To me, that's not masculine. Like, I wouldn't want a man all up in women's business. Exactly. Now, I do want somebody who's ready to pounce on somebody if need be.
Right.
I do want to protect her. I mean, for sure.
But if it's two women?
Even if it's two, because but I think you also have to follow somebody's lead. If I'm not bothered, you know what I mean? Then you calm down, right? Then you calm down. You just
because they were trying to calm. You know, Candace was trying to calm him down. So that's okay. You can go. Right. You know, I think that was a little bit of acting for the cameras. Yes.
Well, some people are saying that he was trying to get more camera time.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, his jacket is pretty fabulous. Maybe he just wanted to.
What you trying to say?
He looked good, girl. He might have wanted some camera time, but
I think he was in the wrong. I just think, you know, there's a time and place for it. Was it like that in Atlanta? I believe NeNe got really mad when Peter chimed in on something that she was dealing with Cynthia, and it wasn't a good look. And I believe NeNe called him the B word, and that didn't go over well.
That's never going to go over
That's never going to go over well.
But NeNe gonna always hold her own.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's different women can handle it different ways. Like, I can handle my own battles. James know that. That's my boyfriend, James. I tell you, you ain't got to, you know, I got this. I got this.
You got it.
He be in the back.
She got it.
Is he willing to pounce?
Oh yeah. He just like be in the back. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's ready. But, you know,
ready when you say the word.
Nicki Minaj, I mean, I get the man trying to defend his wife honor. Like, it don't take all that, but some people get overprotective, and then sometimes some husbands like to get involved in their wives' business, vice versa with the wives getting in their husband's business. I think when you're married, it's a partnership, but then again, it's sort of like you want to be there just in case something happens and stuff, but then you want to be cool and calm about it. You want to hear out both sides rather than trying to And I get it. You want to protect your wife's honor, defend her honor, which is understandable. But things get a little bit out of hand. Which you know what I'm talking about. All right, we gonna get a little bit out of hand when we return. Don't go anywhere. The tape will return after this. Welcome back to the tape. I'm your host, as always, Ken Dix here on the tape for this Thursday, December 16th, the final tape of 2021. What the tape has been from September to now and the evolution. Then earlier the takes of 2021, watch it back, archives there. So we'll probably have a tape marathon next week. So look for that next week and New Year's and stuff for you to watch and stuff. And a viral marathon as well. So everything's coming to fruition here on Connect. And we thank you for watching us here on Connect TV. Like I said, join the conversation using the hashtag Take Here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the tape. All right, let's get back to the tape with the political rundown. Political rundown this week. Former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, did something that he did. He hid text messages. He wanted to cooperate with the January 6th poll. Then he changed his mind and said, no, I ain't going to. Now, the January 6th poll holds him in contempt. And we have the latest with this.
The January 6th committee to vote tonight on whether to hold former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, in contempt of Congress. A vote of the full House could come as soon as tomorrow. And Meadows, a former member of Congress himself, is insisting he's done nothing wrong.
Nothing I've done would rise to criminal contempt.
Meadows initially cooperated with the committee before abruptly refusing to show up for his deposition last week. But by that point, he had already turned over thousands of documents. According to the committee, one of the documents was a 38-page PowerPoint presentation written by an outside advisor that urged the president to declare a state of emergency after the election and outlined a plan to overturn the results. Meadows says he never acted on it. The committee also says an email shows that shortly before January 6, Meadows told an unnamed associate, quote, the National Guard would be present to protect pro-Trump people. The committee also has many of Meadows' text messages from the day of the riot, including a desperate plea from a former White House employee urging him to do something to stop the violence, writing, quote, you should go to the cameras and say, we condemn this. Please stand down. If you don't, people are going to die. Former President Trump's chief of staff and former member of Congress, Mark Meadows, in criminal contempt for refusing to fully cooperate with the January 6th investigation.
Mr. Meadows is in contempt. He must testify, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes.
Before he refused to testify, Meadows had turned over some 9,000 documents from his personal cell phones to the committee, including urgent text messages from people close to Trump imploring Meadows to get the president to say something to stop the violence.
For 187 minutes, President Trump refused to act. Let's let that sink in, Madam Speaker. He refused to act. When action by our president was required, it was essential, and it was compelled by his oath to our Constitution.
One of those text messages came from Trump's own son, Donald Trump Jr. Hours before the riot, he and Meadows were laughing it up at the rally outside the White House.
An actual fighter, one of the few, a real fighter. Thank you, Mark.
As the violence unfolded, the president's son sent Meadows a series of frantic texts.
He's got to condemn this ASAP. The Capitol Police tweet is not enough, Donald Trump Jr. texted. Meadows responded, quote, I'm pushing it hard, I agree. Still, President Trump did not immediately act. Donald Trump Jr. texted again and again, urging action by the president. Quote, we need an Oval Office address. He has to lead now. It has gone too far and gotten out of hand.
Republican lawmakers also texted Meadows as the Capitol was under attack and Trump was out of sight.
It is really bad up here on the Hill. Another one, the president needs to stop this ASAP. Another one, fix this now.
There were even some pleas from Trump's allies on Fox News, who would later go on to downplay the events of that day.
It wasn't an insurrection.
But on January 6th, a very different message from Laura Ingraham, texting Meadows, quote, "The president needs to tell people in the Capitol to go home. This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy." Sean Hannity texted, quote, "Can he make a statement? Ask people to leave the Capitol?" Meadows is now saying he won't talk to the committee because Trump has asked him to keep everything confidential. But on the same day Meadows announced he wouldn't testify, he published a book on his experiences in the White House.
Mark Meadows in trouble. I mean, they're going after everybody in Trump's circle. I'm probably going after Trump, but they'll get him in a grand style fashion when he decides to do something crazy again. Just beyond me, it just should not happen. But then Donald Trump Jr. saying his dad needed to stop it. And then, I mean, how can you when your dad is irrationally not thinking, and he should have stopped it, but he didn't want to stop it. So between the lines and stuff, sometimes when you're a politician, you need to be careful what you say and what you do. January 6th was a good example of what had happened. So telling you. All right, we move on to Dare 2, the reality show clip down, as NeNe Leakes shows off her new man. You see these pictures right here, NeNe with man. This is coming off the months after Greg, her husband, passed away. Now NeNe's a widower, and now she's stepping out. That's too fast. That's too soon. That's too quick. If you ask me, NeNe Leakes stepping out with a new man. It ain't been about 3 months. It's like it makes you think that she been doing this while Greg was still living. That makes me think and wonder, like, come on. And then you got Portia hanging out with you, and then her friend Shamika. I mean, the whole gang hanging out. NeNe trying to stay young with Portia and Shamika. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Can't. All right, and finally, the viral video of the week. The viral video of the week is a 96-year-old man does something good for his son, but he's in court. I'm assuming for a driving case. Well, let's take a look with this.
I'm 96. I drive slowly, and I only drive when I have to. I was going to the blood work for my boy. He's handicapped. You were taking your son to the doctor's office? Yeah. I take him for blood work every 2 weeks because he's got cancer. You are a good man. You are a good man. You really are what America is all about. Here you are in your 90s, and you're still taking care of your family. That's just a wonderful thing for you. Well, how old is your son? 63. Yeah. And Daddy's still taking care of him, right? I only drive when I have to. Listen, sir, I wish you all the best. I wish the best for your son, and I wish you good health, and your case is dismissed. Good luck to you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Amazing. The judge showed empathy and compassion, which the judge did, and kudos to the judge. The man is 96 years old, and he still has his functions. He's able to move and do things that he normally does, and that's unbelievable. But you would think the 63-year-old would take care of his 96-year-old father, but since the 96-year-old man shows that will, that compassion, I mean, it's beyond, above and beyond, and may God bless him and stuff. And may God bless you during this Christmas holiday. And we'll see you in January for a new tape. So I've been your host, Kendra Dick, saying so long. We'll see you in 2022. See you later.